What is Singers?
It's a commitment. It's a tradition. It's a family.
What does it mean to be an AU singer?
To create powerful and lasting musical moments. To bring hope into the lives of the hopeless. To be an example of what's right in a world filled with wrong. Singers does not exist for the glory of an individual or group.
Singers is a commitment to a higher standard of performance.
When this group started in January, I was really excited. I still remember my first audition.
We just posted that we were going to start this new group, and actually we didn't have too many audition. I think we had 12 guys and probably, 20, maybe 25 girls to audition.
I sang Ain't She Sweet. There was no, I don't think there was even a form to fill out or anything.
We had the 12 guys that auditioned, and luckily they were very good. And then the 12 girls that matched up with those guys.
Each year Dr. Smith would add a kind of a new component to it. We would, and our platforms in the early days were, well, let's just base, your life insurance should be paid up if you're going to get on those platforms because you took your life in your own hands. And just the whole way it evolved, after a while we got to where, lo and behold, Winger started creating platforms that we could use and buy and everything. But I remember in the early days, a lot of it was things that Dr. Smith would have an idea and the guys would get together and we'd design it and build it. And I don't know, those were kind of unique times because there was no pattern.
The biggest inspiration for starting the group was probably my past experiences. When I taught high school, we always used various show material in our regular concerts. We didn't really have a show choir, but we used Broadway tunes and other pop music to get into the concert. And then when I went to the University of Colorado to work on my doctorate, I ended up actually working with a summer music camp, and one of those things that they did in the summer music camp was to have a show choir. And they came and said, would you conduct the show choir? And I really didn't know for sure what a show choir was at the time, but I knew that it was singing and moving, and I said, well, I can't take care of the movement, but I can certainly take care of the singing.
Better than hairspray, that's me. Forget the milkman, the only thing better than hairspray, that's me.
We met on a triple date, but he doesn't remember it. So we claim that we met in Singers. We were getting lined up, they don't do it anymore, but alto 1 through 8, tenor 1 through 8, and so I was always alto 7. Martha Reeser was taller than me, but he knew that, and he was really tenor 6. So he kept wearing his cowboy boots every day, waiting for Dr. Smith to number everybody off. And finally, Dr. Smith, about the 3rd day, said, Matt, I'll let you be her partner. You can stop wearing those high-heeled cowboy boots to Singers.
It worked.
All right. It worked.
It worked.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. We met in the group, and then we had our Western European trip, Salzburg, is that the city? Where they filmed The Sound of Music and all that stuff, and we were there, and there's the big square near where the graveyard scene is, and we were out there one day just kind of running around, and right as the bells were going off in the steeple tower, I leaned over and kissed Brenda.
The first kiss?
That was our first kiss.
I don't know. I think it took a while for people for the campus, for the university to really catch on because it was something new when it first started. But now you say AU Singers and people know exactly what you're talking about.
I remember the values that Dr. Smith had when I was in the program, and he just instilled those. He had expectations. It wasn't about you. It was about us. It was about the group, and you would never do anything. I never would ever want to come to rehearsal and not be prepared the best I could be. It was a sense of pride.
What can I say? I mean, it helped with stage movement, expression, musicality. But one thing I loved about it is that it helped me create a lot of good friends, lifelong friends from all kinds of different majors.
During those early years when our kids were small, they would travel with us everywhere we'd go. And we were singing in Cartersville, Georgia. And Marisha, our daughter, was about 4 at the time, and she was sitting about in the audience where I am now. And we had this very quiet moment in the show where
Darren Wyndham, Darren was singing leader of the band. And so Marisha had heard it at all the shows on this little mini tour. So he comes out, all goes quiet, and he comes out with his little stool and sets up his mic and his guitar mic and everything.
it was just so quiet. He was getting ready to start. And Marisha, our daughter, leans over to her friend and says,
"Oh no, I hate this song." So that wasn't much of an intro for Darren.
I was on the front row, making my, doing my usual smooth moves, which were not very smooth, and I fell right in the middle of everybody, right on the front row, and somehow I became rubber. I mean, I hit the ground and bounced straight back up, and wasn't even really sure I'd fallen, but I got ragged about that pretty much the rest of the time I was in the group.
The music is the vehicle that we use to reach out to people and to try to make somebody's day better in some way.
This thing about the singers making a difference, they say that music is a universal language, and through our travels overseas, we have seen literally how music sung by American students who had a joy and a willingness to share literally makes a difference in the lives of people and can make a difference in the world.
But I just remember, when we would travel as university singers, and we'd step off the bus, there was a real sense of, I had a sense of pride, a sense of belonging, a sense of purpose.
Really, it was just the greatest thing I did at Auburn. I did some other things, fraternity and other things, and it was really, looking back especially, it was by far the most enjoyable thing, just the family feeling, getting really close to the group.
And just the relationships that we made. We still communicate with a lot of the friends that we made at that time, and plus I got like a wonderful husband out of the deal.
And the song goes deep inside my soul. I know if God wants me to sing, the striving's more important than the goal. And I think, what would I do without my music?
What's the purpose? And it's quality, wholesome entertainment for the family that, again, represents Auburn well.
When we part our separate ways, it's hard to keep up with each other, but it's really cool to realize, that in this group you make such good friends.
I think the whole thing really has been about relationships and the students themselves. I get more pride out of that than anything else. So the singers really is about the students.
I was really excited to be able to come back and be part of the group because it never stopped meaning something to me.